there's something else that I wanted to talk about that I did not. I had heard rumblings about, and then I wound up catching it this weekend on CNN. 3 Identical Strangers. Have you seen it?
No.
I have not seen it, but that's so high on the list right now.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Stop what you're doing and watch this thing.
It's on Netflix, right?
I watched it on CNN. It was on CNN, but I think you can get. Do you know the story? Do any people know the story?
No, people have been tweeting at me about this.
Twins separated at birth or something like that?
Dude, it is something out of like a science fiction, like Hydra type shit. So these kids and I always,
true story, obviously.
Yes, I always resonate. Obviously when they're people from New York, and so this guy is going to this college. It's 1980. He's going to college. He walks into the college, and he's never been. It's first day in the college. He's walking through, and as he's walking through the college, people are going, "Welcome back. Nice to see you." He's like, "What the hell are you talking about? I've never been here before." Like, he's walking through. Women are giving him hugs, and people are going, "Ah, you decided to come back. It's so good to see you." People start running up to him, hugging him, and he's like, "What is happening?" Right? So they're like, "Hey, Eddie," and he's like, "My name is not Eddie," and he's like, "My name's Rob." He's like, "My name's not Eddie." And he's like, all right, so all this stuff's happening. So then he goes to his dorm room, and he's confused out of his mind. And so then you get this guy comes, his friend, comes walking, and he's like, I'm hearing that my buddy Eddie's back, and I know Eddie's not back. He told me he's not coming back to school. And he knocks on the door, and he looks at this guy. This guy turns around, and his friend stops dead in his tracks. He's like, holy shit. He goes, when were you born? And he's like, July, whatever, 1961 or whatever. He's like, were you adopted? He's like, I was. He's like, what was all these questions? And he's like, you are my friend's brother. There's no doubt about it. So they run to a payphone. They call Eddie, right? Then they drive to Eddie's house, and there's pictures of them just staring at each other. It's like two people, it's like cloned, staring at one another. Big newspaper articles about them all over the place that this had happened, right? That these two people. So then,
and they're identical twins?
Yeah. Then, so this other guy this woman goes, oh my God, that looks like I think John, I forget what his name is. That looks like John. And then, whatever the guy's name was. And then his friend, they're looking, and so it's a third guy. Yeah. And it's a third brother.
At the school? I'm missing this part of the story.
Outside, just in New York, looking at these newspapers of the two brothers of Rob and Eddie. So then, he then calls up the mother. He's like, he's like, I think that I'm the third brother. And the mother, and the other one's like, the mother from the Eddie. He's like, they're coming out of the woodwork. So then they meet, all three of them meet together, taking pictures. They start going on Donahue, all these things back in the day. It's like this huge thing, separated, but 19 years separated at birth, right? So it turns out that, like, then the parents are pissed because the adopted parents are pissed because they were never told that they were siblings. They were not. So they go to the agency and they're talking to the agency about, like, what happened, how come it's happened. They said, well, we separated them because of I forget the reason why, right? What they told them.
Something legitimate or not legitimate?
Ish. Right. So then one of the parents goes back because he left his umbrella there, and he sees everybody in the adoption agency, like, they dodged a bullet, cheersing with champagne. Like, what is happening? So long story short, what turns out that there was a scientist who was doing, like, these social experiments to separate twins and people at birth to see how, if it was hereditary or people, like, because their parents had, like, mental, like, there was, like, mental health issues and stuff too. So would that sustain with different parents? Like, each one of the triplets were put into different households, a poor household, middle class, and rich, to see, like, social experiments to watch how it would maneuver, how they would change. Crazy.
It's like the Hands of Rock.
It's like Nazi stuff.
Many different families, or just this one family?
There were a couple different families, but the triplets are the focus of this documentary. But they do focus. There were these women.
This is Man in High Castle. Just like you said, it's Nazi. This is Man in High Castle.
It's crazy. And you hear the reason why there was then they have this one woman who was like an assistant to the scientist. She's like,
I gotta watch this.
She's like, there are reasons why we had done this. I have to tell you this, and it's going through her
Brimson.
reasoning behind it. It was Stom Brimson. If you have not seen this, like, we just kind of, again, stumbled upon it. I kept hearing about it. Man's like, you gotta see it, it's great. But my wife started watching it, and I had to rewind it, and it just stuck with me because it's insane.
Mm-hmm. Wow,
it's insane.
Are they pissed, or are they not?
I should just, you're going to see it anyway. It's a documentary. It's part of it. But one of the brothers committed suicide
during the taping of the documentary.
No, 96. Like, it was. They went into business together. And it was such a great thing to where they said there was a woman who was talking about, I think it was one of the guy's adopted families, and he's like, they said, when you're growing up with siblings, you learn the ins and outs of them and who they are. You piss each other off. You make up.
Yeah.
And these were brothers from 19 on trying to do that, and they didn't know each other the way that other siblings do, and they were robbed of that.
Yeah.
But the other crazy thing, this is the craziest part about it when I say the Hydra stuff.
Sad.
But there were people, and the brothers talk about this. There were people that were coming to their houses to study them, like they told the orphanage,
and they didn't know that's what they were doing.
The orphanage told the families that they were there just to see how adopted kids were doing in their households, right? But they would go to the one brother's house and then not say anything and go to their twin or their triplets like right afterwards and study them. It's crazy. Like just crazy shit.
Holy moly!
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Are they suing somebody?
Well, you know what? I've got about like 5 minutes left of the doc, maybe even like 10 to be honest, and because I was again exhausted. But the last it was.
Did it get nominated for an Oscar?
I did it. Cody no, it didn't. The people were kind of pissed about that, but there was the end of from what I saw that they were trying to lock down because these documents. The study was never published, by the way, of these scientists, and so the brothers are trying to get access to it. So that's where.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's nuts, right? It's like
that is so effed up and wrong.
Yeah, I don't even have to sell it. You know, it's just like it's just the story itself is fascinating. Yeah. So I mean, you should absolutely watch this thing.